Welcome back to Petals and Thorns. I'm X.
And I'm O.
And no video today. We're doing a little reconstructing in our space, moving some stuff around. So it's just easier right now to not show you that.
Yeah, it's a war zone.
But until then, let's talk about this past week. Injuries galore. Well,
Not
kind
really.
of. Minor injuries and then one scary one.
Right.
And producer involvement, in our opinion.
Producers producing,
Yeah.
for better and worse.
Let's get into it. The
Yeah.
group date was
Yes.
violent.
Very.
They played a mix of rugby and basketball,
Mm-hmm.
mostly rugby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of tackling, and poor Michael A. just gets brutalized.
Broke his back.
Almost.
It was broken in half.
At first, I thought he was actually seriously injured.
I'm sure he actually, seriously, I guess, hospitalized.
Right. He walked away very hurt.
Just short of it. I mean, he walked stiff.
He'll probably be sore for over a week.
Yeah, at least.
Maybe longer. But, I'm actually speaking about it calmly right now. But in the moment, I was really upset.
Yeah, no.
Because
it was a lot.
we talked about how you and I, it's really upsetting that producers put these people in this position
Mm-hmm.
of very likely getting hurt in group dates, quote unquote, like this, because they're not professionals. That I've always said, I grew up playing basketball and other sports, but basketball was my main sport. And I was always taught, be extra careful when you play pickup with people like outside of organized ball, outside of school and whatnot, because it's the people who don't play who are the most likely to injure you.
Right. Of course. I mean, that's with any craft. If you don't know the craft, you are bound to get hurt or hurt someone doing it. So
right.
Yeah.
So, and these guys, well, first of all, this is kind of a made up sport, I think. Right? Or is there something I'm missing?
It is, but I'm sure somewhere in America they play this like that.
Yeah. So, these guys, they're not all athletes, and they're clearly, some of them are taking out some serious aggression, using this as an opportunity to take out their aggression because they're supposed to tackle. It's part of the game.
Yeah, and they're blue balled as hell. They've been there for like 4 weeks. So
you could speak on that maybe more than I can.
I would imagine they have a lot of pent up testosterone.
I imagine. So yeah, it's really upsetting to me because the thing is, they can't just opt out of this. Like, if it were me, I'd be like, I don't want to play this. I have no desire to tackle or be tackled.
Yeah.
It's, a little too violent for me, too aggressive for me, and it's very likely I'll get hurt. But if I say no, if I say I don't want to take part in this,
you're not playing
then
ball,
I'm the loser who's not playing along. Yeah, who's not
Yeah.
participating.
Well, I mean, we've seen contestants opt out of challenges like this before. I'm not sure.
It's frowned upon.
Yeah, I don't know if it was in Tasha's season, but there was like a wrestling date, and one of the guys said like, "Oh, actually, I got Ed," and he's like, "Oh, I got bad shoulders or something," and that's where I forget his name, but dude with a mustache jumps into the ring. And
Noah.
Yeah. I was gonna say Nick, but Noah.
Yeah, and so he got made fun of for that.
Yeah.
And then people will judge him and be like, oh, like, even I can't say I wasn't guilty of that. I might have thought, especially in the way that he was edited.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, because I can't remember other details, but there were other things that happened leading up to that I thought, yeah, okay, he's got knee problems.
It also like played, badly in his way, because I feel like I remember him having a big mouth in the lead up to that.
Yeah, he was not coming like now in retrospect, because of the whole thing with him, being tricked into going to Chris Harrison's suite when he was looking for Tasha?
Yeah.
I think in retrospect he became kind of likable, but I remember back then, leading up to that group date, he was given this sort of edit that he was coming off a certain way.
Right. Yeah.
That was not so likable. And so, when he says, "Oh, I can't participate, I have bad knees," he's looked at like,
And
okay, yeah, you're being,
he's a bad shoulders, but yeah, like
or
he had a
shoulders.
shoulder injury of pretty
Right.
fresh, like
Yeah.
before the show or something. Whatever it was,
Right.
But mind you, he has all the right to opt
Of
out of this.
course.
You're wrestling with a bunch of people who probably haven't wrestled
Mm-hmm.
a day in their lives,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, like that's what we're talking about. Is one, I just get annoyed at just how stretched thin they are creatively with
Yeah.
these date ideas, but also just the fact that so much of it is just gimmick. It's just entertainment for the sake of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't advance any relationships in any tangible way.
Right.
And unless it's like one where you're just talking, how we had like a couple of episodes ago, they had the where Mike won because he actually took a chance and just opened his heart and talked to Katie about the way he felt, as opposed to doing this whole like, whoa, I'm gonna do this to you. Yeah, it's just the idea of these like physical challenges or whatever it is, or eating peppers and we're done.
Yeah.
We're so
Yeah.
done.
And they've reused that. They've
Mhm.
reused so many of those so many times. It's
Yeah.
getting really old. Like they have to know that they have repeat viewers that notice these things.
Yeah.
The majority of the viewers watch every season for years on end.
Counterpoint, because there are repeat viewers, they feel like, oh, this seems to work with them. Let's keep them around. Give them what they want, supposedly.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah,
they'll
I
enjoy
just
this.
I feel like I'm just so over the gimmick
Yeah.
challenges, these date ideas, when the night portions are like what everyone actually looks forward to.
Yeah.
When you actually get to see these people sit down. Just give me a whole day of that.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, but with the whole, aggressive dates thing, I bet you, and like I wish I knew for sure, but I'm pretty sure. I feel like I know that they give them these waivers to sign,
Mm-hmm.
waiving all liability. So if they
Yeah.
do get injured, it's probably not on them. Mind you, yes, they provide ambulance or whatever, but like it's just, I don't know. And the
Yeah.
shitty contracts that they sign as well coming into the show,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll sign whatever, because if they want to be on the show, they have to sign the contract.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt there's ever been someone who's hired a lawyer and said, well, I want this different in the contract and then you can
Right.
have me. No, when you're a contestant, there's so many people who want to be a contestant on this show. They'll just go with the next option. You're just
Oh yeah, you're
one
disposable.
in a pool of, you're disposable. There's
disposable.
so many people who want to be on the show and who would be just as entertaining.
Yeah, and that's what kind of like you said, like it annoys me on a aesthetic level, because it's like, I don't care to see this. I want to see these people talk, but also, yeah, it is an unnecessary risk to so many of these guys that they put them in these positions, and again, it comes back to the pressure cooker of the show, where they're isolated for so long, and then they're told like, oh, do this, do that, and they're like, yeah, I guess at some point. So it's unfortunate that that's the conditions that they're in.
Yeah, they'll go with it, and they kind of have to just do whatever is thrown at them, and they probably aren't thinking as clearly in this environment as they would, or not thinking in the same way as they would in a normal environment.
Mm-hmm.
But so then Hunter gets the group date rose later in the evening, and it's interesting because as a viewer, he's getting this villain edit. He's the new villain.
It is a very weird edit.
God forbid there's an episode in the first half of the season where there's no villain.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it does feel like a stretch, that edit. I feel like they forced it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he's getting this edit, and then he gets the rose, where the only thing that we saw that had him earn the rose was when he told Katie that he would like for her to meet his kids down the line.
Yeah, which was, I mean, whatever. I have my opinions on that whole night, really. there was a lot of Hail Marys that and that
By him or in general?
in general. There was a
Okay.
lot of gimmicks, a lot of Hail Marys, and it's like, but
Yeah, well, a
get it
lot of
on.
these guys are feeling desperate. You know, they're
And I
starting to
get it.
notice that she has connections with other guys,
Mm-hmm.
and they're realizing my connection can't possibly be that strong.
Yeah.
It's not like they're being honest with themselves,
Yeah.
and they know that it's just not there, so they're trying a
Yeah.
little harder.
It's just unfortunate that they
And
feel like they have to turn to that. It sucks that they're in such a position that they
yeah.
need to do some wild stuff. And I'm like, listen, if I don't end up with
Mhm.
Katie, I will get my screen time somehow. Because you know what Andrew M did in that portion of the night, which he was in? He gave her slippers. And that we didn't see that.
How do you know that?
Because there were some behind the scenes photographs from the episode.
So in that evening, in the cocktail party,
Which
and the
I
group
believe
date?
actually Katie did post as a story.
Oh,
But
okay.
I did see the photo elsewhere, and yeah, it's
So
just
he gave her slippers, like to just give her feet a break,
yeah,
type of thing.
yeah.
That's really sweet.
But it's boring. It doesn't go there because they're not, giving her some like gummy worms or whatever,
Oh, you're saying that that's not so much of a gimmick as other things, and they didn't
Correct.
show it, whereas they did
Correct.
show the gimmicks.
Yeah,
Okay,
a
yeah.
thoughtful
Yeah,
moment.
that's
like,
actually
hey,
thoughtful
yeah,
and sweet.
But we don't want that.
But instead, they show us, was it Courtney wrapped himself in toilet paper
Yes.
and said something corny? I don't.
Uh,
It doesn't matter. He went home.
yeah.
It didn't work. And although they did applaud him on his way out, and I'm curious to know why they did that for him too. They did that for John.
He probably has a very interesting or complicated backstory
Yeah, we don't
that he
know,
brought with
which
him,
sucks.
but we wouldn't know. Yeah.
And Katie said, "I'm so proud of you," as
Mhm.
he was leaving. And
I
we
thought
had
he
no
said it to
idea.
her.
No, she said it to him. I'm so proud of
so
you.
yeah, so there's more to him that we just don't see.
Exactly.
Oh
It
man, that annoys me
sucks.
so
It
much.
sucks when we miss out on that stuff. And I'm curious to see that. I haven't looked if she's maybe said something on social media to give light on that.
Not
But
about
on
Courtney.
why
She did about Hunter, but not about Courtney.
right. She did say something about Hunter, but
Which does kind of add to the perspective of like Hunter's edit as a villain is so like forced.
yes.
I mean, mind you, yeah, he definitely played it up for the camera, but it in actions is like, I don't see it.
Right.
And now
no.
Katie coming out and saying like, hey, before you comment on what you saw,
Uh-huh.
think about someone's personal struggle and
Right.
story.
There's so much you don't know, so
Yeah.
much you don't see.
Which in his case, is Tourette's.
Mm-hmm.
Which yeah, it makes you socially awkward in some cases.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
When you try to overcompensate,
Mm-hmm.
you act out a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only other thing though is how he was saying, and you know what? I hadn't thought of it that way. So maybe his Tourette's also has something to do with why he likes the aggression. Maybe exerting that energy.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm not informed enough on Tourette's to know. But if your muscles or need that movement,
Right.
because I haven't noticed it on him, so he might have a very mild case of it.
I think that's a little bit different. I think he definitely has some aggression issues.
Maybe he did. So that's initially what I thought. I was like,
Because
he's
Tourette's
done nothing but raise red flags by saying how much he loves to be aggressive. He just keeps saying how much he loves this group date because he loves tackling people.
I mean,
and he's showing it.
All that tells me is that he was fed, be aggressive. He was told,
maybe.
hey, be aggressive. And he thought, okay, cool. That's
No
going to become my
problem.
whole personality now. Because Tourette's, mind you, it's not a psychological thing. It messes with your psychological state of being, but
it's neurological.
It's a neurological.
Right?
It's reflexes. It's
Yeah.
involuntary twitches and
Right.
stuff like that. So,
which is why I was saying, maybe that's why he likes that sort of activity, because he gets to exert
Possibly.
physical energy
Yeah.
that maybe will be enough to kind of calm his muscles a little. I don't know, but
well, you know
I'm
what?
speculating
What
here.
his Tourette's actually does shed light on
What?
is snorts.
Oh,
Because you and I were kind of like, what is up with that snorting? And
that might be a
suddenly it's probably it's a tick. It's a reflex that he has now.
that makes more sense. Okay, I hope that's what it is.
I mean, yeah.
Because otherwise, it's not appealing.
Yeah, it's a rough one to have if that's your tick. It's like, oof, that's a rough one to have.
Well, yeah, because it's sound and all. So
Yeah, it's very guttural the way he does
yeah,
it.
yeah. So yeah, so okay, he gets the rose, and I again, like I said, I don't see too much reason for him to have earned it,
Yeah, me
other
either.
than mentioning his wanting to her to meet his kids, and maybe the flirtation at the beginning of the day portion. So it makes me think producers
Mm.
probably nudged Katie
Yeah, of course.
to give him the rose.
Yeah.
She's none the wiser
Mm-hmm.
of she has no idea the edit that they're going to give him.
Yeah.
She has no idea what they're plotting, behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's probably like, okay, sure, because no big deal. I like him enough. I plan on keeping him at least another week anyway. So might as well listen to the producers and cooperate.
Sure.
Because here's my take. Here's what I think. This is
Mm-hmm.
an assumption based on my gut and observations. Katie is clearly she has a mind of her own, her strong opinions and perspectives, and she isn't one to be taken advantage of
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, she has a strong conviction about herself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. However, she's in a position where she has to work with
Mm-hmm.
the production,
Yeah.
and I feel like she probably cooperates as much as she possibly can. Like maybe she wouldn't have normally given the rose to Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
but because it was something that she was okay enough with, she decided to go with them
Right.
so that later, when they ask her to do something she really doesn't want to do, she has that bargaining chip of, oh, I did this for you and I did that for you. And I went along with this and that.
Yeah.
This I'm sorry. That's something I won't do. I feel like that's probably the game she plays. And I don't say that in a bad
Yeah.
way. I
Yeah.
mean, she cooperates.
Yeah,
She's a good sport,
she's buying herself
but
points in
then,
karma. Well, sort of like production karma,
mm-hmm,
and that I'll play with you
mm-hmm,
this much.
as long as you respect me when I'm
Correct.
serious about something.
Correct. And I hope that she was able to at least navigate it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because just I don't know if you have it on your notes, but just watching her video that she posted recently about her not filtering herself anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and just it seemed like a very fed up reaction to maybe
Mm-hmm.
being told like, hey, maybe steer away from this topic or that tone and this and that. And she's like, wait, hold up, like being me is what got me here. Why am I going to change
Uh-huh.
now?
Yep.
um so
So they say I curse too much,
mm-hmm.
and they made her change her handle from Vent
Yep.
with Katie
Yep.
to Katie Thurston
The
and all
Katie
this
Thurston.
stuff. She said the Katie Thurston, but when I looked, it said just Katie Thurston.
Oh, I probably missed it, but yeah.
But anyway, yeah, she probably is fed up
Yeah,
at this point
and
because
it's one of those things
it
that's like
continues after they're done after they wrap the show.
it keeps going. Yeah, I mean she has to do promo runs,
Uh-huh.
and she has to put on a good face. She's the
Uh-huh.
face of the franchise right now, and she
Yep.
actually is the face of the franchise right now
Yep.
with who being gone.
Yep.
It's not Tasha or Caitlyn, it's Katie.
Yep.
Right now the franchise actually does fall on the lead.
Yeah.
And that's a really tough position to be in, so I would hope that it's also a position that gives her leeway in how she chooses to present herself.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does speak to a lot of handling and mishandling that she's kind of like over.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, listen, at some point you're doing too much. So, being me is what got me here. It's what got me as a lead. It's what got the fans of Bachelor Nation to petition me as the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I going to change now?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you putting me in this position to change? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, good for you, Katie.
Hell yes.
And let us know what you thought about what we talked about and maybe anything that we didn't talk about. I said no video this time, but we'll have a video version of this on YouTube. If you're listening on another platform, we will put up a video. You just won't see our faces this time.
Right.
But we'll be back again next week. And yeah, thanks again as always. Please share, subscribe, comment, engage with us so that we know if you're listening and what you're thinking.
Yeah, what's working, what's not.
Yeah.
Be vocal.
Be vocal
We
with
like
us.
feedback. Constructive criticism is always good.
Absolutely. Well, once again, this has been Petals and Thorns. Thank you and see you next time.
Bye.